I just realized that the week is almost over and I don't currently have a tutorial video that I can drop for you guys. I literally just decided that I'm gonna do something that I've never done before, which is I'm gonna do a cook-up video and break down everything that I'm doing as I'm doing it rather than explaining to you guys what I did after I already did it. So let's get to it. So the first instrument that I'm hearing in my head is a guitar. Let me go ahead and open up guitar rig, styles. Let me go to blues, see what we got in blues. All right, I'm gonna turn off the reverb in the cabinet on the actual plugin as well. I don't need any reverb or effects going into the guitar rig if the guitar rig is gonna be doing all of the effects itself. I need one that's gonna let it tail off though. And then I'm just gonna adjust the pitch bend range so that when I use the pitch wheel, it'll bend a little bit more. So here's what it sounds like now. I like that way better. All right, next up, I'm gonna go back to Contact and I'm gonna open up the Scarby Rickenbacker bass. So for the bass line, I'm gonna try to make it so that it doesn't sound too busy, but I also still want it to sound like a bass line that you would have heard on a record back in the day. And then also looking at these notes, I don't think I'm gonna quantize them. If anything, I'll just nudge them over a little bit more just to make it feel a little bit more natural. All right, next, I need some keys. We'll start off with the Lounge Lizard and see where we go. Next up, let me see if I can add some strings. So I'm gonna head back over to Contact, go to LA Scoring Strings. Pro tip, if you can afford one, get yourself an external SSD drive. Not too shabby. All right, so now these strings I will quantize. Let me nudge them over a little bit to the left as well. And then let me extend these strings right here. I'm also gonna fix the modulation that I played in a little bit to make it sound smoother. So now usually these strings will be fine by themselves, but what I think I want to do is I want to double them up and have another layer or another octave below it playing slightly different notes. And you know what? I might even change the articulation and turn these into legato strings. Just because I feel like even if I mix those two tremolo strings in the background of the mix, between that, the violin, the Rhodes, and whatever other instruments I end up adding later on, it would start to cause a distraction and it'd be too much. I want to add another 4 bars and kind of change it up a little bit just so it doesn't get stale listening to the sample or the loop. I think I'm gonna copy over my Rhodes and my strings for now, but I'm gonna change the bass and the guitar. So let's start with the guitar. So now let's add the bass. So for this bass line, I was a little off in my playing. So now what I'm gonna do is I will quantize it, but I'm gonna lessen the quantized strength down to about 90 so I still have more of a natural feel and everything isn't like robotic and perfect. Then we'll nudge it over a little bit. We're gonna fix that pitch bend too. And now I do actually feel like changing the string. So now I'm gonna come back up to Contact and then I'm gonna play in a new string melody for this part that I kind of hear. Some of you guys have asked me how I get my strings to get that Arabic kind of sound where it sounds like the strings are bending. The articulation for that is actually called the glissando. You kind of need to have the right string patches for it. And then in order to get it, it depends on how you use your velocity. So for example, if I had the velocity on this string note up, this is what it would sound like. It just sounds like a regular legato string. But if I bring it down, and there you go. All right, so next up, I kind of want some piano in the background. So let me see if I can figure something out here. And then one of the things that you can't see because, you know, it's under the desk, but I do have a sustain pedal. So I used it while I was playing the piano just now in order to make some of the notes extend out a little bit longer. All right, and that's it for the piano. So I've listened to the sample for a little bit. Now I'm starting to think that I want to turn it into a 16 bar loop. So I think I'm going to turn the first 8 bars into an A section and make it exactly the same. And then for the B section, I'll change a couple of things up and maybe take out a couple of instruments in certain places. All right, so now instead of going with the guitar, I think I'm going to add an organ. All right, so real quick, I just wanted to let you know that if you like any of my tutorials or if you like any of the samples that I make, you get anything out of the videos that I do, then you might want to consider joining my mailing list in the link in the description. Right now, every other Friday, I do a free sound Friday where I send out a free sample pack, or a free sound kit. And I also send out extra production tips, career tips, and just music business information that I may not always be able to put in these videos. So yeah, if you're interested in that at all, then just hit the link in the description and I'll even send you some free royalty-free samples just for joining. Okay, so I had a bit of a hiccup. So like I said earlier, I didn't plan to do this video today, so I pretty much just picked up my phone and started recording. The problem with that is I did that without thinking to charge my phone before I started recording. And on top of that, I didn't clear out enough space on my phone, so there's a lot of stuff that I did and said in the moment that I just didn't capture. But I did end up finishing the sample. So now I'm just gonna walk you through all of the changes that I made and then let you hear the final product. So one of the first things that I did was I changed the organ sound because the first organ sounded okay, but I think this one sounds a little bit more natural and it fits the sample a lot better. Also on the organ, I wanted it to sound more lo-fi and old school, so I added an effect from Initial Audio called Analog Pro, and it's basically an old school saturation plugin like the RC20, and you can use it to make your stuff sound old. Next, I added a couple of percussion sounds. The first one is a hi-hat and the second one is a tambourine, and both of them are coming from Addictive Drummer. And then I also used the Initial Analog Pro plugin on the guitar and on the piano. The next sound I added was these French horns from the Basic Contact library. Another thing that I did was I added this clavinet. And then the two things that I wanted you to see for this one is, for the effects, I added an instance of guitar rig because dry, here's what it sounds like. So when you add guitar rig, so the next thing that I did was I also added another instance of Initial Analog Pro to kind of make it sound more old and push it back in the mix a little bit more. And then for context in the mix, this is what it sounds like. And then the last thing that I added was this organ effect from the Vox Continental. And I really just have it there as some ear candy in the background. And then other than some basic mixing moves and a little bit more sequencing, that's pretty much everything that I did. I hope you guys enjoyed my first ever cook-up video. If you did, then leave a comment. If you didn't, then also leave a comment and let me know what I could do better, or if you just don't want me to do this type of video again. Now, I am thinking about including this sample as a part of a future sample pack, but if you're a producer and you liked it and you want to use it in one of your own beats, I'll leave a link in the description so you can download it for free. And if you like this video, or maybe you didn't like this video and you want a much more structured tutorial on how you can make your own samples and compositions just like this one, check out this video right here.